Hi. I believe the title of this will be Fractional Reserve Mentality of Human Consciousness and UFOs. People love the UFOs. But before I get started on the fractional reserve that I found in my own mental programming just this afternoon, I would mention that here, this is a video camera for my telescope, which I haven't been able to use yet. I paid extra for the shipping. Orion sent it to me from telescope.com. And unfortunately, once I got the instruction booklet, they told me it has an incredibly small field of view. For anyone who knows telescopes, 5 millimeters, really? I want to be able to film the moon and things I find in orbit around the moon. But I need, if I use a video camera, it won't work because video cameras don't reach the surface of the moon. Video cameras they're very small magnification. They're like uh, big binoculars, and all they do is magnify the light reflection of the moon. They don't show you the surface of the moon. So you can't use a video camera to see something that is as far away from the Earth as the moon itself. They don't focus that far. So I'm using my telescope, and I've gotten this web. Well, it's not a webcam. It's a video camera that inserts into the telescope. I view it on my computer. We'll see how it works. But meanwhile, I had to order a part from Orion because they told me inside the instruction booklet for that thing, that I have to order this part to expand the field of view if I'd like to do that. So, come on, with 5 millimeter lens, it's like trying to find something by looking through a straw. If you manage to find it, like, yeah, it's super magnified. But because the ecliptic is always racing around, it's like, okay, well, it just passed, it's gone. Okay, I saw it, now it's gone. I can't do that. So I'm waiting for this extra part to arrive. I'm also waiting for the frickin' new moon to become something I can see. It's out there, but it's in daylight. It's not reflecting enough light. I can't see it. So maybe tomorrow it will actually be back. I'll do the best that I can. Meanwhile, if I still am reading the data of UFOs, it should show up on camera, and I will happily share that with anybody. All right, enough of that. Fractional reserve about in my own mental programming. Now, I am going to speak to you like I'm a computer. I'm going to speak to you like you are a computer. I'm going to speak to you like we are holographic images. There's no such thing as a human being per se, except that there is programming that taught us to perceive that this central element inside this sphere of light data is a human being. And there are others that resemble what I am. It's bipedal, it's got, 2 arms and a mouth and ears and all that. It's a human being. But I'm not really a human being. I am an interpreter of light data. And I found today why society has, I guess I should back up. I apologize. I'm trying to make this video very quick so it doesn't take an eternity to upload. Um, why would people say, okay, let's call us, and I'm going to quote unquote, enlightened people. So let's assume that there are some enlightened human beings, regardless of the fact that I view us as just computer programs interpreting data. So we have these enlightened human beings, and through the ages they have told us that society is a reflection of humanity. And we, as individuals, are supposed to take on the responsibility within ourselves. It's like, okay, the global warming and hunger and AIDS and pollution and all this crap. And it's like, I don't do any of that. How, after all these years, how am I supposed to? So I found other ways. We affect the external environment by having a relationship with our heart. That's way number one. Now, what I as a computer will be utilized for, because I now have this ability on board, is anybody's guess. That's up to consciousness. What is consciousness? Let's call it master programming. You know, it's like, well, what is a mothership relative to a tiny little UFO? Well, it's master programming, mothership, you know, motherboard, hello, master programming as compared to this little bit of perception out here that is doing mother's bidding. All right, so that's what I am. I am doing my job, and I am skilled, and I have had my software upgraded many times per day. You know, you can't experience an ascended consciousness and not find yourself being changed and altered very swiftly, not to suit your own purpose, but to suit the purpose of that which creates you. All right, I'm pointing all over the place. It doesn't mean anything. I just like to point. Okay, I'm excited. I don't have any clue what it means, but I've always known about, I've long known about fractional banking system. It means that if a bank sends you a check in the mail for 50 bucks, God knows why they would. Maybe they're hard up, maybe they're desperate for money, I don't know. They send you a check in the mail for 50 bucks. It's like, oh, you know, whatever. We'll pay you $50 if you'll go to Walmart and buy a set of luggage. You know, we'll give you $50. What do you, or you can bring the $50 check to our bank and you can deposit. So you march down there with this piece of paper, which is totally fake until you put your name on it and make it real. You deposit $50 in the bank. It's like, screw that. I don't need no luggage from Walmart. I'll just take the 50 bucks. Thank you very much. Now, what has the bank just done? They get to keep 9/10 of that money as their own and send it out into circulation into society. They get to loan it out and start collecting interest off of it. And it's not real money. It's just a piece of paper that looked like a thing we call a check. You put your signature on it, and that legally entitles the bank to now treat it like it's gold currency. And it's not. But whatever. It's the law. It's the way the law is written for bankers. It's called fractional reserve banking. For every $10 that you give them by law, they are entitled to keep one of those dollars in their bank. It's 10% reserve. That's the reserve. They hold back one of those dollars, keep it in their bank as a physical representation of that wealth. And they take the other $9 and they're free to do with it whatever they like. They can write checks on it, they can loan it out, they can do whatever. This is how they make money. And then they start drawing in the loans, or should somebody foreclose, so should somebody default on a loan, they can foreclose on the real property. Now they've taken fake money, they've loaned it out in a legal way, and they have caused somebody to go into default on a loan, and they've confiscated the real property that was represented by the fake money, blah, 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 blah. There's so many ways to think about it. Now, how is a human being to be held individually responsible for that reflection in society? And today I was giving clear indication of how that works. It's a 2D mental plane. I've been able to figure that out in these videos I've made in the past month. It's a two-dimensional mental plane. It's cut off from this third-dimensional heart chakra, which means it's cut off from the emotional consequences of being itself, which means it can act like a damn banker, like a corporation. It can act like there are no consequences, as long as it sticks to the letter of the law, and that is programming. This is the matrix. I may be Keanu Reeves, or I may be one of his buddies, I don't know. But all the, and I'm talking about Mr. Agent Smith. All Agent Smith has to do is stay inside the two-dimensional parameters of his programming. And within that, he has latitude. It's like if you come into his plane, he can shoot you dead. Which I don't believe in, by the way. We don't need guns. Good God, we need hearts. Hearts make more changes than guns ever could. I don't eat meat. I'm entitled to say that. Love you, mean it, gotta go. Okay, so this fractional reserve mentality happens because we, as human beings, experience mentality in two dimensions. And what is mentality? If you translate it, it's one thought after another. Thought, 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 always thinking. And those are the rules. That's programming. Imagine what a computer would think of its own reality if it perceived as a human being perceives all this data streaming by, and the computer's like, what the WTF? Where is all this data coming from? And it's irrelevant. The computer's job is to experience it, organize it, make sense of it, and do all kinds of fancy stuff on a flat screen because of it. That's all the computer is ever going to be able to do, and it's never going to be able to stop interacting with this very two-dimensional programming. And that's what it's like for a human being to really get a good look when consciousness opens a window called ascension and shows the human form, the interpreter that I am, what its truer relationship with mentality is. Mentality is the programming. So today I was able to see how bankers exist inside of me. I just don't know that I'm able to describe it. It's got nothing to do with money. It's got nothing to do with money. It's got to do with rules. And what is society? One big package of rules that imposes itself into a three-dimensional space. You can't look around anywhere inside the space and find the rules. But you conduct your form to conform with the rules. And where do the rules exist? Only in a more two-dimensional space. They exist in our mind because we have been inculcated, we have been programmed. They've been repeated at us so many times, we actually have a good grasp on what they are, even though we've never seen them written down. Think about it. Most of us are not in Harvard Law School, therefore we've never picked up a volume of rules, laws. We don't know what the laws are. We just know that if you drive over the speed limit, bad boys, you're going to jail. Okay, so this fractional reserve stuff happens to human mentality because if you'll follow along with all the metaphors, it is programming. It's light information stepped down in its oscillation so that we can experience it and interact with it. And if it can be made plausible in our two-dimensional mentality, then it can insinuate itself into the third dimension and become manifested. Only if the computer, the heart chakra, the electromagnetic transformer, believes it. And that's the whole key. It's the banker's mentality. It's a syllogism. A syllogism is a major premise, and let me start down here. A major premise and a minor premise to create a pyramid that you have to believe in. Now, if you don't believe this major premise down here, or you don't believe the minor premise, the pyramid can't exist. That's a syllogism. It's a major premise and a minor premise creating a pyramid. Huh. Can you see? That's a good-looking pyramid, you know? And without either one, if you don't find it plausible, boom, the information crumbles and it cannot exist in three dimensions. Fractional reserve, it works the same way. A thought, a stream of data, is put into your two-dimensional mentality. And it's like the thought is suggesting to you, you know, I don't know, you don't fit well into society because you're so tall. And I'm speaking for myself because I'm very tall. So you don't fit well into society because you're so tall. And 20-somethings don't talk to you because you have gray hair. And okay, do you recognize the beginning of the pyramid? It's like there was a major premise, like I'm really tall. That's irrefutable. You know, I am very tall. I'm one of the tallest human beings on the planet. So I'm very tall, and I have gray hair. And if I don't put up a stink and, you know, reject the notions that are attached to those truisms, then the pyramid can be built. I hope I'm explaining this clearly. I'm really just doing it to share the information. Okay, I'm tall and I have gray hair. Now, what is the pyramid constructing? Oh, it was suggesting to me, what was it? oh, I don't fit well into society and 20-somethings don't like me. So this horrible pyramid of self-perception has been created because I'm tall and I have gray hair. And I don't know if I've explained well how that's bankers' mentality. I am now controlled with false rules because I didn't argue the major or minor premise that was based on truth. None of these things are not related. They're not related, but an entire pyramid of self-perception has been created. I hope that that makes sense. I think I tried to make a video about it. I don't think I did it justice. As soon as the moon is present, which evidently it's almost evening time and I can't see the moon. I live in the mountain. I live near the mountains in the Arizona desert, and I assume that when the moon, if it's a sliver yet, when it becomes visible, it's probably going to be behind the mountains. So I'm assuming I need one more night to finally see the moon. Then I'll try my little UFO thing. If they're still there, I will be able to film them, and I will share the video with you. And, I'll just remind you, it can't be done with camcorders. They're not powerful enough. If you're filming the moon with a camcorder, the color's all funny. Camcorders film things differently than our eyes see them. That telescope over there gathers light and focuses that light, and then I look at the focused light through a lens that magnifies the image. And the image is nothing more than light data. That's exactly how our eyes see the moon. So when I look at the moon through a telescope, it looks the same but hugely magnified. And I mean huge. It's 675 power. That's big compared to a camcorder that might be like 80 power. That's why these things can't show up on a camcorder. And the colors are all funny. You're looking at the Earth's atmosphere with a magnification of 80 or 100x. You're not even looking into, you're not looking off in the distance. You're just looking at what the light refracted from the moon has done to the atmosphere of Earth. That magnification doesn't leave Earth orbit. I don't know a better way to say it. Love you, mean it. Thanks for tolerating me. I doubt that I would find anything else out about fractional reserve mentality that is worth sharing. I want to live in a world where this kind of information is freely available. That's all there is to it. You don't have to interact with me. I prefer that you don't. There are so many rude mofos out there. I don't like talking a crap like that. You know what? I should not share this. Most everything that comes on YouTube is fake. It's for entertainment only. Today, I got like 3 subscriptions to my channel. Like, my channel is, whatever. I don't know why people would subscribe to it, except that they hope that I will, subscribe back. It's like if you look at the people who subscribe to your channel, you find that Jack Daniels, with a Z. Okay, is that your real name there, Jackie boy? What up? And who was the other one? Oh, like Martin of Hell House. Martin of Hell House? Wow, that's an inspiring name. Yeah, I sure want to go check out your channel and subscribe to you. These people aren't real, and I can't. I don't know. How am I supposed to share that information? But I don't think most people are going to figure it out for themselves. They're going to figure out that the name isn't real, but I mean they're not real. It's like employees of YouTube are paid minimum wage to sit there with a headset on and create fake accounts. And what do the fake accounts do? The fake accounts reach out through the network and they subscribe to people's channels who seem to be getting some views. And then hopefully a percentage of those people are going to subscribe back, which is fractional reserve banking. It's fractional reserve mentality. So now I'm really glad I see how it ties in. Please forgive me for talking so fast. But I see now how consciousness has tied this all together. Boom, boom, a pyramid of information. Oh, please forgive me. So if YouTube can create all these fake accounts and entice a percentage of its real people to subscribe to the fake accounts, then every time the fake account is caused to do something by computer software at YouTube, then these real people are exposed to what? Commercials. It's all monetized. It's YouTube acting like a banking system. They're creating fake accounts and drawing people into that fake world to show them advertising. That sucks so hard. Facebook, same thing. Oh, God. Fake book. Now, is that like libel? I take it back, I didn't mean it. God, the rules suck. Anyway, YouTube is clearly involved in some very weird fractional reserve stuff. It's just like a banker. A banker sends you a $50 check, which isn't worthless until you sign on the dotted line and give it some value. Now, in the eyes of the law, the banker can start collecting money on 90% of the revenue that you just deposited into their bank, even though that revenue was fake. It was a piece of paper that arrived in your mailbox as junk mail. But everybody loves $50 checks, and YouTube is doing the same thing by subscribing to my account, Jack Daniels and Martin of Hell House, and some other, like, evil is among us, or self-torture is the right way to go, some other really stupid name. Subscribe to my, and it's just to bait me into going to those places and looking at these videos in order that the monetization can take place. That's fractional reserve mentality. I appreciate how consciousness was able to tie it all together. Love you gotta go, and I look forward to seeing the moon and the UFOs. I will share them with anybody who's interested. Bye-bye.